Hello, folks. This is Doug and Hunter coming to you from the Swine Barn here at the Arizona National Livestock Show for the 2025 Gilt Sale Preview. We had the opportunity to sort through these females during both the purebred and crossbred gilt shows, and we're excited about the quality we saw over the last 2 days. This afternoon, we're looking forward to highlighting a few of the standout females that'll be offered later this evening at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. If you're not with us here in Phoenix, but still want to be a part of the auction, you can watch the sale and bid live from anywhere via CCI.Live. Gavels down the best. Again, this gilt sale kicks off tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, streaming in real time on CCI.Live. Folks, Hunter, I get the lead here because I am the lead, I guess. But if you're interested in a next level one that is an absolute creature, but does so with the complete aspects that it takes to win big shows, I'd look into this calico. I know she's a calico, and but good livestock's good livestock. Her littermate brother is Knife Talk at Halfins, and an impressive individual himself. And I think that only adds value here when you have a brother that's so popular with a gilt that is undeniable in our opinion. I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously she hit the ring, and Doug and I kind of looked at each other and said, well, maybe there she is, you know. And she got big, and for a big gilt to be that comfortable on her front feet and still youthful about her head. We talked at lunch just in terms of her hair coat and her texture. Those things are interesting, but just break her down and rip the hair off. That is a dense, ginormous, comfortable rear leg that works extremely good. And man, she hit us like a ton of bricks and continued to do so. And man, she is obviously flawless just in terms of skeleton. We have her on shavings and pellets. You can walk her out on the road, and I think she'd still be comfortable. I think that maybe just obviously intensifies her value as well. So we haven't said pedigree yet. Avery Layton, the champion overall. She's a tricked out from Tape and Show Pigs. I think obviously one that hit us hard and continues to do so, as you guys can see on camera.
Champion gilt. Dylan Schlosser from Washington. She's a 8 seconds heavy hitter from Ham Livestock. And folks, I mean, one of the challenging things is when you're putting together a 8 seconds heavy hitter, when you put together a sale order and you know where they all fit together. This one is as an outlier as you're ever going to find one. And if you can't make a boar hunter out of one that's constructed like this one, I'm not sure it's possible because she is an outlier in every regard.
Yeah, and she hit the ring in the middles, and the same thing we just talked about the Grand Gilt. Kind of looked at each other and said, wow, it's going to take an absolute hammer to get around her. And we didn't, you know, we had some discussion in the Grand Drive. It wasn't it was bulletproof over. We made a case for this gilt out here just in terms of density, arm, size of her rear leg. And guys, you maybe can't watch this gilt come and go maybe on this camera, but she is that stout, she's that dense, and she is absolutely perfect in terms of squareness. Going away from hip hock to ground, and all the bone, hair, and feature you'd ever want, and a neat pedigree to boot, and Ham Livestock breeds this gilt. So I think resale value is unbelievable on this one's litter, and obviously trying to make a boar, this is kind of the answer to the test, if you will.
I mean, Ham Livestock, I mean, they're hotter than peanut grease right now. I mean, they've won them all everywhere. And this one might be as one of the favorites I've seen them raise in a line of very good ones this year. Guys, this thing is as wild and is still correct and as good as you can absolutely make one. If she's not high on your list, she should be. Again, the Reserve Grand Champion Crossbred Gilt, 8 seconds, heavy hitter. Well, folks, I'm not going to be the lead talker on all of these. I'll let Hunter do some of it. But this champion purebred gilt spotted swine from Jennings Show Pigs, and there isn't anybody in the spotted breed that is any hotter than Jennings. This gilt is a badger, no words. The spot breed, Hunter, how good were they?
Yeah, unbelievable, and 5, 6, 7 deep in those respective classes. And with that said, we still thought this was easily the champion in that purebred drive and that spotted drive. And I think Doug can maybe read off some things that this sow line has done for Jennings. I'll tell you this, guys, she won the purebreds very, very easily, in our opinion, and she comes back. We haven't seen her today, and she comes back maybe even fuller, fresher, and more comfortable than even we saw her yesterday. So if you want to start out in the purebred division, these spots are good, and this is a sow, a potential sow for you guys that can definitely make a profitable litter in on down the line.
She's the mom raised, Hunter, I think the
champion and the reserve sponsor mates. The mom has actually raised a $30,000 gilt in a baby pig sale, and then she's actually a mate to the reserve at Tulsa, I think, if that's right.
And so, like, the other thing that mom raised was one of my more favorite spotted hogs ever that Brantley Plant showed in 23. That was 4th overall market hog at North American. And you can see why. Depth of quality, depth in litters, high-end prospects come from deep litters, and this one is the epitome of that. This is the champion purebred gilt and the champion spot. Clara Kowalski from Oregon, an incredible day. Congratulations, young lady. Awesome gilt. Have the reserve champion purebred gilt shown by Clara Kowalski from Oregon. This is the champion Burke. She's an upward, top it off, from Colton Blem, Barn Burner Genetics. And guys, I'm a Berkshire enthusiast for sure. And watching this gilt cover the surface makes me reevaluate maybe some things that I'm doing at home, because it's hard to make them this neat looking, this square built with this kind of feature. Congrats, Colton, the Blem family, Clara Kowalski. I mean, this is an incredible individual that can make the breed better. If you're a Berkshire enthusiast, or if you're just want to make better livestock, I'd tune in on one that looks like this.
For sure, and a neat pedigree, and dang sure a good breeder behind it that's doing some neat things. And I'm telling you guys, these gilts that Doug and I got to evaluate, they're fit, they're presented to achieve, but you can rip all this stuff off them. And I'm telling you, this is good stock. That's got density of rear legs. She's got a crossbred head on her. She's moderate in terms of her length of body, and that is an absolutely perfect length of body, rib cage, and squareness of hock behind. I think that's a Berkshire that can go on and be heard from in her litters in on down the line. It'd be interesting to see where this one ends up, because I think she maybe has as much upside and potential value as anything we've seen, definitely in the purebred division. So I think a really neat one with a neat pedigree to boot.
Is going to be our 3rd overall crossbred gilt, exhibited by Will Hagan. Brought an incredible set of livestock to Phoenix here, and highlighted by this promotion, Strictly Business gilt from Goss Livestock. And I told Blake at the backdrop, I said, man, if you can't make a bear that wins Oklahoma Youth Expo out of her, then I don't know if you can, because this one looks like a barrow generating machine.
I'm telling you guys, and you may not be able to see it on camera, but this one is as creased up and crispy up high in terms of muscle and texture up high as anything we've seen thus far today. And talked to him at the backdrop as well. And this one's mom was 3rd out at Iowa as a calico gilt that was extremely good. And these promotion pigs, they just feed. This thing's comfortable. This thing is ditched up high, and like Doug said, can definitely go ahead and generate some bearing on down the line. I think a neat pig here to be lot 5.
Hunter, here's one that I think is going to stick with us. Very memorable. What a gilt! We thought the pig show was over, quite honestly, when she came in Division One, because this one just trips my trigger. This is an awakening, all out from Wilbur. She has been very popular. This is a very good individual that I think still has some shelf life for sure.
Yeah, in a show of this magnitude, we found some bigger gilts that surfaced, and they were just bigger versions of what this one is out here. And you want to talk about moderation in terms of frame size and density. This maybe could be someone's pick if they had, had to tie into a smaller one. But I tell you what, in terms of stoutness of skull, the size of her arm, and her comfort, I know for sure, Doug, all right, we're going to hear from this pig, whether it's a month from now or 6 months from now, she will win another pig show.
We have our 5th overall crossbred gilt, Mackenzie Rigney from California. This gilt is a woke from Garrett Cole. And this gilt, guys, is so close to being incredible, it scares me. This hog looks like the generator, the generating kind, if you will. Her chest is perfect. Her head's incredible. I know Garrett there and what he's trying to do, and this one's just going to make the next generation better.
Yeah, for sure. This one made Doug and I, talk a little bit out in the ring because she is so close, and I think that's maybe what we're going to see the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lots is those piece hogs, and who's to say that these won't be the generators that are worth the most money in on down the line. Really good one here with a neat pedigree, a woke from Garrett Cole. Here because I thought this one was interesting. Champion Landrace ended up being, I believe, 3rd overall. Can't See Me Happy Hour from Bratton. The purebreds were good, and you never know what comes out. And we said, hey, after that spot in that Burke, what do you think? And we both looked at each other. We said Landrace. And for the breed, maybe as game changing as anything we've seen thus far today. I'll let Doug describe her, but man, I tell you what, this thing is lights out good.
Man, this thing really tripped me. And for a purebred and one of this ear set to be built like this and this, quite honestly, game changing is incredible. Bratton obviously is as prominent within this breed as anybody and making quality purebreds nonetheless. But this thing, for a Landrace gilt to have that kind of feature, that kind of robustness is pretty rare. If you're into Landraces, look in. Lot 8, Addison Horn, the champion Landrace and 3rd overall purebred gilt. We have the reserve champion spot gilt, Channing Goodson from Oklahoma. Again, a littermate to the champion gilt, and that's a Badger No Words from Jennings Show Pigs. And guys, her littermate sister's incredible. This one's incredible. She's a little bit of a knucklehead, but quite honestly, some of my best sows are that way too.
For sure, and to be nitpicky, I guess, of them, we obviously tied into the Grand Guild, this in terms of being a little dancer behind, but I'd say this one's just a shot taller fronted, neater looking, and cleaner about her jaw than even our eventual champion. And if you can't afford the champion, who's to say the sister won't be the generator? I think this one's very interesting from Jennings Show Pigs as well. Is absolutely on a tear. Be a neat place to tie into some spots right here. Lot 9, Channing Gibson.
Badger, no words from Jennings. Another Hunter, another awakening. If I'm leaving here with anything from a sire's perspective that has me excited, is this awakening thing. This is Kinley Hikus. She's also your champion junior showman hunter,
Yep.
I believe. And man, this gilt's really interesting. Her skull shape, her body shape, her squareness of build. That's a very, very fun gilt there. That is the 6th overall crossbred. The awakening boar is at Maverick Squires, I believe, and this gilt was raised by it's unlisted, but Barclay Holt, I think, the Holts there in Oklahoma raised this particular gilt. Another gilt that I think has some shelf life left in her.
Yeah, I think it's interesting from a buyer's perspective. If you want to go home and breed them and get your money back quick, that's awesome. But guys sitting ringside who say, hey, I'd take that one on, show her at the Revival, or if the smaller ones go all the way to the Expo, I think that thing's got some shelf life for sure.
Hunter, calm yourself. Okay. If there's a hog we're going to discuss a lot, not saying she should have been higher or lower or anything like that, but man, this one got me fired up. I think she's the very first class, one of the very first pigs that came in the ring. This particular gilt, Kaylee Larkin from Arizona. This gilt is a woke, and guys, she looks like she could turn into an absolute hammer.
Yeah, I think, down the line, if you want to obviously buy this one and feed her out and breed her, that's great. From my perspective, that thing has World Pork Expo written all over her. I told Doug, I said, hey, how am I going to be able to afford that one? He said, let's get through the gilt show. Let's judge these things and figure that out later. I will be a bidder on this particular gilt. Very unlikely I'll be able to take her home. But you want to talk about head shape, density. She is as stout, wide, and genuine as any of these lightweights. And she come out of first class, hit us like a ton of bricks. We knew the gilt show was going to be lights out good. Class 1 winner, Reserve Division 1, a woke. This young lady had a dang good day with this pig.
From Oregon. This gilt is a buckle up.
Yep.
And we talked about this. It's funny because we're putting together a sale list, a sale order, and we said, man, this one looks like she could bring a pile. And looks like she's expensive. She looks like she could make one. This gilt is a buckle up, and man, Hunter, she is a wild critter.
I told Doug when she come out, I said she looks like a buckle up in terms of her head and her arm and the qualities that particular boar has generated in that sire group, and they just look distinct in terms of density, size of their rear leg. And I'm not saying they're all perfect, but I'm telling you right now, we're going to have some boars that are generating. The bottom side of those pedigrees and sow lines being buckle up, I think are going to be extremely valuable. I would not be surprised if someone had a pig that won this show next year out of this animal right here. Dense, stout, wide, and absolutely massive up high. Buckle up here. This young man drives a really good gilt. A very interesting one. I think could maybe even top the sale, to be honest with you.
Next in, we have Lexi Quick from Colorado, the reserve champion Berkshire, the 5th overall purebred. She's a top secret, kicking rocks from CNC. Caleb was very fond of this gilt, and she looks like the way I like to make my Berkshires at home in terms of build and kind. I think a functional gilt that's so correct and just looks like the type of Berkshire sow that you can build around.
For sure, and I'm not going to tell you that this one's the freak. We've seen some absolute madness in terms of bone, hair, and density. This one will never get you out of bounds. And in terms of skeleton and rear step, this is a gilt you take home, and hopefully she brings a lot for this young lady. But, man, I tell you what, she is never going to get you in the ditch. And if she sires that rear step, that mobility, and that athleticism, you're going to be profitable for years to come.
From California. This is a Team Sloan raised gilt, sold at Top Shelf, I believe. She's a Not My Monkey, white lines. And guys, this thing was so close. She got beat by a pair of litter mates that were very, very good. And this thing, I think, has generator. I mean, who's hotter making quality show pigs than Team Sloan? I think a very good gilt hunter.
For sure, and I thought those two spots that maybe got around this one, if you will, they were just freaks in terms of bone, hair, density, while still having the squareness of this gilt. But by no means did this gilt to not have discussion out there, because her look, her lines, and her balance are probably best of that trio. And I'm telling you what, guys, I've been to Cameron, Missouri a lot. You try to buy a spot that doesn't cost $10,000 as a baby pig, good luck to you. Let's start out with this one. Try to make your own and make yourself famous. That's a dang good spot gilt that I could see being a real good sow for someone someday.
Folks, we have Dallas Martinez in here next, and this is, I think, the 9th overall cross gilt. She is a wide awake end game, mate to Boble's class-winning gilt at Kansas City. Class-winning bear, excuse me, at Kansas City. I remember that pig, actually. Very good pig.
One of those kind of mouth breathing a little bit?
And that was a good pig. And this guy's looks like a generating type of show sow. I mean, she's moderate, she's stout, she's dense, she's opened up. She's just burly as all get out, and still looks like maybe as much of a board generator as any within this offering.
Yeah, like I said, and there'll be gilts that we have in on down the line that maybe make Doug and I look a little dumb, because they can definitely top the sale. And this thing's density, arm, and just stoutness all over is interesting. And then when you have a pedigree and mates that have had success as well, just intensifies that value. Wide awake from Goff sounds like money to me. This one's pretty good, guys.
Yeah. Next in, we have Manny Gomez from California, the 10th overall crossbred gilt. Cold-blooded, next to nothing from our good buddies there, Wellman Livestock. And, man, that guy's starting to heat up. And this thing was as interesting and talked about between the two of us as any within this particular offering. Man, I mean, hair's in, looks in, builds in. I mean, this thing could be mated appropriately to make the next one.
100%. And if you pick the right boar on this one, you are absolutely bulletproof in terms of dollar value and just upside in this particular gilt. And I know it's winter. I know it's cold some places. I think this one's just naturally dense about her hair. She's dense about her arm. And for being that wild everywhere, she's still got a neat kind of cute head on her, if you will. She's not perfect, but I'm telling you what, guys, this thing's going to generate something that Doug and I are going to want to bid on, and we're going to run out of money in a hurry.
Next win, we have Will Hagen, and Will had a heck of a day. This is an out for blood, quite frankly, end game from Schulte.
Oh, I see this pig's a baby.
You could look at some bears that have won some big shows that come from Schulte, and this one looks like a sow that generates at Schulte's, quite honestly. This one, man, she had all the pieces and parts, and again, another one, kind of like the last one, that I think if you mate right, could make you very, very rich someday.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you drive around and see pigs. I remember this pig as a pig the size of this clipboard in my hand, and she definitely was very, very interesting as a baby, and as a big one, definitely turned out as well. Comfortable, athletic. Her head is fresh, and she's just so dense about her arm. Maybe as comfortable as a gilt as we've had through this ring today. She's another one. You take her out on the concrete, and she walks just as flawless as she does right here. I think very, very interesting gilt. Bulletproof in terms of mating. I think this one's very, very good from Will Hagen.
I mean, one other thing we didn't talk about, how many gilts has this young man shown that have gone on and raised boars in boar studs?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's
they're doing it the right way. Yeah. They're making hogs that are better. This guy's exhibiting them. Feel confident, feel comfortable, and buying one that can make the next generation better. Then we have Kaylin Hicks here from Oklahoma. This is a wide open out there from TKO. That wide open thing's really starting to show up. We've got a few sows bred that way at home, and guys, this thing's an ear set and a little bit of unique pieces away from being extremely, extremely good, guys. And I'm going to tell you, from TKO, raised the best animal that I've ever evaluated in my life. Came from them. They're on it. They know what they're doing. They're making good livestock. And Hunter can break her down a little for you, but this one is real close, folks.
For sure. From this one's blade back, maybe as comfortable, big-backed, and just as dense about the rib cage as we've seen thus far today. And I tell you what, she is so, so comfy off either end of her skeleton. This young man had her boot scooting boogieing out there, and she continues to do that out here. And guys, I think about resale value. What's to say it's not, hey, that's the mom of the TKO. That mom is the TKO gilt we bought at Arizona. I'm telling you what, it intensifies their value. This gilt's got the pedigree, the breeder to back it. This one's awfully, awfully good. I believe this one is lot 18.
In next was raised not too far away from the gilt that just came in. This is Macy Walker from Oklahoma, the champion Poland gilt. Head Start Rain Dance from Richie Livestock. Guys, Poland breeder extraordinaire, Tyler Ritchie there. Man, this one really got us fired up, especially Hunter.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and we talk about a quality gilts all the way in throughout the day. This one was in my mind still. When we went to dinner last night and Doug asked me, what was one of your favorite ones that could change your breed? My answer was the Poland China that we've seen, just in terms of head shape, ear set, just comfort level, and being that dense about her rear leg. I'm not telling you she's just blessed in terms of muscle, but I tell you what, she generates that rear step, that rear ankle, and that bone and substance to her. I guarantee I'd buy a pig that looks something like this. She's going to have some success. This one hit us hard yesterday.
Max Heimer from Missouri, champion Hampshire, raised by Heimer. Top Gun all-in-one. And honestly, those top pair of those Hampshire gilts were very good. Top trio. And this one, beat them all in that particular division. Man, they just raised the champion market hog of the year, right? That yep. Hampshire bear that was undeniable. And this gilt, I think, could make one of the same quality.
For sure, and obviously a name and a firm that's synonymous with quality livestock, and even in the Hampshires, obviously they're kind of the top dog, if you will, right now. And this gilt came out and she beat them all in a good Hampshire show. Look, design, build, and skeleton, I think is tough in these Hampshires. This gilt's a little bit of a knothead, but when he gets her collected, I tell you what, that's a look of quality. Awfully good one in lot 20, Max Heimer. Top Gun, all out.
I have Kinley Hikus at 21, excuse me. Kinley Hikus, the champion Yorkshire, 9th overall purebred, automatic, lonesome from Mike Hurt. And guys, this one, man, she hit us really good in that particular breed. And in a breed where hogs need to be better, this one is better. Her chest, her height of shoulder, her look and extension up front, with that kind of feature, fuzz and burliness, this breed needs to get better where this gilt is good.
For sure, and we can all kind of cuss and discuss Yorkshires, guys. They've won at the highest level. Instead of talking about how negative they are, let's buy this thing, make them better, and just talk about how dense this thing is, how square and how comfortable she is. She's still fresh for being a big, older gilt. She's ready to be in someone's sow lot. I think this thing's got an immense amount of value, and it'll be heard from someday for sure.
Next in, we have lot 22, Brock Hammock from Oklahoma. This gilt is a Quite Frankly, and man, she just hit us as one of those fresh, awesome-bodied type of individuals that's so correct and so square. You know, looks like that type of gilt that again makes another championship type of bear.
For sure, and I think we've seen some freak shows in terms of bone and density, and those things are fun to talk about. But I tell you what, you go on a board tour, you try to find one that's comfortable and square, it's tough. Let's have the sow that can do that and then breed her to the freak show. And I think that's where this gilt has her value, just in terms of her skeleton or toe quality or underline or vulva, all those things that maybe makes Doug and I sound old. I think this thing, it has all those boxes checked. Let's breed her the freak that we can go look at, and I think she'll hold an immense amount of value in and down the line.
Have lot 23, Callie Gamble from California. This gilt's a lucky day. She comes out of the last class and beat them all in a class I believe we weighed 10 or 12 of them in, and she did so based strictly on comfort. You know, we all want to have sow lots of big quality livestock. I think this gilt would have that in anybody's sow lot. I mean, she just looks like the kind that survives and lives on and makes better ones every single day. This is a lucky day. I'm not sure what lucky day is. I don't really care what lucky day is. I think this gilt's high quality.
For sure, and this one hit us hard. And like I said, we weighed 12 in that class. It doesn't matter to anyone that's listening, but that was a deep quality class. And this thing, kind of like the last gilt we talked about, build, comfort, and skeleton. You can breed her to the most jigged up boar that you can find in the United States, and she's still going to make them square and comfortable. I think this one maybe has as much upside value as anything. She's not a freak, but man, it is so hard to make livestock that comfortable, that right, that wide and genuine off either end of their skeleton. This one, I think, holds as much value as anything we've seen in the last few lots. I think a really good one to be lot 23.
Who raised her?
Callie Gamble.
Next in, we have Marin Ludlow from California, wide awake, fully loaded from Brady Auto, and you know, guys, it doesn't, you know, it did not have an effect on the day. But last night, Hunter says, "Hey, man, I'm not sure where this black gilt that I saw in showmanship today is going to be, but she really trips my trigger." And guys, for one of this color to be built like this, that does not happen every single day. She is so stout, so incredible in terms of her build and her skeleton. Hunter, you can talk more.
Yeah, this one hit me like a ton of bricks today, and obviously it did showmanship yesterday, and it doesn't matter how they look that day. But she comes out, and you want to talk about maybe as big of a rear leg and as square as a rear joint as we've seen thus far today. Is she perfect? No, but this is the piece hog that I think makes the boring on down the line that makes you rich someday. Her color patterns maybe not ideal, guys, but as soon as we color sort them, we're going to get in trouble. Let's stay committed to build, skeleton, and making them that dense behind. This thing's going to be heard from in on down the line for sure.
Next in, we have Addison Horn from Texas. This is a buckle up from Brockman. Let's say that one more time.
Yeah.
A buckle up from Brockman. What kind of boar could this one make?
For sure, and we talk about resale value, and I'm telling you guys, you breed this thing to a boar, what's to say those guys ain't going to come to your house when you say, "Hey, I bought a buckle up from Brockman in Arizona that made the top 20. Come look at these pigs." I tell you what, it sounds like dollar figures to me. This thing's quality is second to none, just in terms of toe quality, feet quality, her underline. I just think this reads quality. You could breed her to the freak as well. I know we've talked about that before. This thing's skeleton is absolutely flawless.
Next in, we have Santos Olivares from Arizona. She's awoke from Goss. Mate to the Grand at Amarillo. I think that hog won all 3 rings in Amarillo. If I can get myself, not myself too far ahead of myself there, but and I can see why. This pig was so close to being real good, guys. And she's one that I think you could argue has some shelf life left in her, Hunter. Awesome headed, flat backed, big tailed, a very neat woke pig from Goss.
I think you like to, at least we do, or Doug or I or whoever, when you go look at pigs, it's neat to buy quality stock out of deep litters. And this one's brother already won a major show that paid big money and continued to see that picture on Facebook. And man, that was impressive. It's interesting that this gilt is a mate to that pig, awoke from Goss. Just sounds like money to me. And this thing's skeleton, rear step, and balance is awesome. Was in a neat division. I got a piece of it as well. I think she's got a bunch of value left in the tank. Awoke from Goss.
I don't have any pedigree. Is that how we pronounce that? Dylan Dyke from Oregon. Buckle Up Last Dance from TLC Livestock. And Hunter, we had some conversations about this one for sure. And where she's good, she's incredible. And guys, if you had a bunch of Barras that had the pieces and parts that this one represents, I think you'd be well off.
For sure, and if you're going to say sire of the show award, it looks like maybe Buckle Up will hold that value. And from this one's head back, you want to talk about size of arm, moderation in terms of back, and you crawl on top of her. That is natural shape. She's square behind. She's comfortable off either end. If calico's not your color, that's fine. I think that thing almost intensifies her value. If you want to make
assuming that was the sheep that they
all
had,
white ones. This one looks like the kind that's going to maybe generate some dollars in that particular division. So a really good one. Another Buckle Up in on through the ring. Good one from this young man.
We have Madeline Rawls from California, the Champion Chester gilt. A double bred WD-40 from Danner. Blake called me on this one and asked, I said, man, she's awful good. And, WD-40, I think he's the Chester Man of the Year multiple times running and probably will continue because they look like this. They're built like this and they win at the highest level.
Yeah, I think, Doug, this maybe was one is as honest in terms of body shape, as honest in terms of condition. I know that's a thing that goes through our minds when we're buying these gilts. Man, we got to go home and we got to melt them down, and how can we get them bred right? I tell you what, you get this gilt home, she's honest in terms of her structure. She's honest in terms of her feet, and she is so honest in terms of her skeleton and her body shape, if you will. I really like this gilt from Danner, double bred, a WD-40 from Danner, Champion Chester at Arizona National.
Holden Peelman. I will forever be linked with the chest pound from this young man here. He has the Champion Durant gilt. Sword Statement Day from Sheese. And guys, I don't live very far from Dylan. I know him well. And man, there's nobody hotter in this breed than Sheese Livestock. And this is why.
For sure, and you kind of look at the pedigree, you look at the breeders, and oh, yep, that makes sense on that one, and that makes sense. And we get the Duroc. It's like it's probably from Sheesh. You look down, it's sure as heck it's from him. And this gilt kind of tied up yesterday, but I tell you what, she's maybe as
Better
comfortable
today.
as she has today, and she is so honest in terms of her build and her skeleton right now. Awesome in terms of her look. I love her rib cage. I think a really good one, and she too will hold some value when you buy a Sheesh gilt. You put it in your sow lot. It's definitely going to generate some dollars for you on down the line. So lot 29, Champion Duroc at Arizona, Sword Statement Day from Sheesh Livestock.
Is lot 30, Kira Cohn from California, wide awake heavy hitter from Sloan. I'm one that I know has some shelf life left in her. She's cool marked, she's cool colored, and guys, when you're bred that way from a guy that's that hot, uh, you know they only get better. I think this one has some shelf life, revival, and on past that.
Yeah, it's interesting. You find the pedigrees that are in front of us, and you say wide awake, heavy hitter from Sloan. Man, that sounds expensive. I'm sure this wasn't a $100 baby pig by any stretch of the imagination, and she shouldn't be, because ones that are that moderate, that dense and stout should not be. And if she's for the buying public, I tell you what, this one definitely can have some shelf life in on down the line and be a very good barrel maker for you for sure. Wide awake from Sloan, definitely a very good investment.
Then we have Channing Goodson from Oklahoma. Brought a whale of a set of gilts here. This is the 20th overall crossbred. She's a wide awake, rightfully so, from MC3 Ward there in Oklahoma. Not just Berkshire breeders, folks. Crossbred breeders as well. One that we thought could be one of those changers, one of those generators. For those wild pieces that she represents. The young lady brought a great set, and here's one of the best ones.
For sure, and muscle-driven, wide, stout, genuine livestock. Got pens in our ring today, and that's what this gilt is. She is so dense, she's so wide, and she's so powerful in terms of muscularity. She's another one, and you might want to, we've heard it said a few times. If bred right, this thing could be heard from as much as any of them. A neat pedigree, a trio of girls, I believe, there in Oklahoma that's absolutely throttling it in multiple breeds. A really good one here in lot 31. Channing Goodson, wide awake. MC3 Ward.
Then we have Karis Dadson for the lightweight gilt. I believe she is lot 32, the 20th first overall crossbred. She's a woke crowd pleaser from Hellberg Show Pigs, and I think this one could even make her dad smile when she hits the ring. And another one that I think has a tremendous amount of shelf life left in her. Not sure that they bought this gilt to part with her here, but she is in the sale. And man, we saw those Wokes, Hunter. They got so stout, so good, so elevated as big animals. This one looks like the kind that could be an absolute hammer come the expo.
For sure, and this one came out, and we're like, man, that's a neat looking one from the side, and she got a pen quick, and I said, hey, Doug, crawling behind this thing, she's a mammoth in terms of her pin set, her hock, and just her squareness behind. And like I said, she's immature. She's not as dense and burly as those others, but we saw Woke on the top side of those pedigrees in first 10 lots that we saw. Who's to say this one can't do a top of sale here in 3 or 4 months as well? So a really good one from the Datsun firm, Woke, lot 32. Oh, Nice.
Lot 33, Madeline Lindley from California. This is an Awakening, another one. Icon from Maverick Squires Genetics. Mackenzie probably did all the work, but this one's man, this one's my speed in so many areas. From a maturity and density perspective, was she ready? But she could be, and sometime in the near future, this particular gilt could be very fun. I love this thing's proportionality. Her build from the side is certainly my speed. Hunter, take it away. I think the sky's the limit with this one.
For sure, and you kind of go throughout a gilt show, and you get to judge with a friend like Doug, and vice versa. You kind of got your style kind of figured out. And this one hit the ring. I said, "Oh, he's going to pen that one in 2 seconds," and she was already into the scales in terms of her head quality, her look, her design, her freshness.
I was like, "That's not Macy.
Doug
That's not Macy."
And I think all of us to a T. For as good looking as that one is from the side, she's
you know
got
what
some
this big is
going away
other than
as well. Square,
a wide awake?
stout, and genuine. Is she ready yet today? No, she's not to win. But I tell you what, in on down the line, this thing will be heard of.
Lot 34, Macy Zerbach from Oregon. This is a wide awake. And Hunter, we talked about this gilt, how close she was and where she was really good. Man, this thing is absolutely fat-backed and big-tailed, big and stout in her rear leg with a very elegant look up front. I think a gilt that definitely can make a barrow or a boar in her next generation.
Guys, these wide awakes are going to surface, and let's just maybe try to find a wide awake. If it's in your dollar value or figure, if you will, press bid and just try to own them. And I'm telling you what, this one's pin set, this one going away looks like the grand gilt. She's not perfect, but I tell you what, guys, she is so square. She's comfortable, and for being that dense, you crawl on top of her, she's got a barrow back in her, and she'll generate like that. I think a very interesting gilt, wide awake, lot 34.
Ski exhibitor of the year here so far. If you want to roll this into a 2026, what a day, what a set this young lady brought. And we have 2 landrace gilts that I think are absolutely unbelievable where they're good. This gilt is from a body texture and hair perspective as unique as it comes within this particular breed. She was really close in that particular division. That's why we put her in the top end of the purebred gilts. She's comfy, she's short-backed, a very neat gilt that is a wildcat, always looking, from Bratton, who also raised the champion.
For sure, guys, and this one came in late, and I remember her yesterday, and we already saw our champion landrace, who was actually third out pure. I said, well, nothing's beating that. And then this gilt came in. I looked at Doug and said, all right, let's do a little searching here, because this thing is dense, haired, fat-backed, crane-necked, and wild-looking. That one, if you would have said this was our champion landrace gilt, obviously I'd agreed with you, and then you said, hey, this one actually got beat. I said, what were they doing out there? And there just happened to be one show up. That was an absolute breed changer, but who's to say this one can't do the same? From the exact same firm, Bratton's been killing it. Sounds like you guys maybe need a landrace from Bratton firm for the World Pork Expo coming up.
Jarrett Rigney from California. This would be the 3rd overall Berkshire gilt. She's above and beyond Rooster from Heimer. And guys, if you look at some of those show pig awards for the year, the breeder of the year in the Berkshires was Heimer again for the umpteenth time. always a thorn on my side from a Berkshire breeder's perspective. And this gilt looks like the kind that can make the next ones better. For head shape or stoutness of mug, that's a broad, dense, heavy-legged one that I think certainly has some breeding capabilities. From a Berkshire breeder's perspective, they all don't have bone like that. They all don't have stoutness like that. Look in on this particular Berkshire.
Yeah, for sure. She's from Heimer, which has value. And you study her about her forehead, guys. That thing reads generator to me in terms of her stoutness, the size of her arm. Guys, this thing's in the sale for a reason. We saw 500-600 gilts here in Arizona. You get towards the bottom of this sale, this isn't the what's left, guys. This is the high-end quality of what we got to sort through. And we put a sale list together. Who's to say we weren't wrong? This thing is dense about her forehead. She's big about her arm. And from a crew like Heimer, this thing's got some value for sure. Lot 36 from Jarrett Rigney.
Lot 37, Karis Datsun, third overall landrace. This gilt is a Wildcat, timing's right, raised by Datsun. One of the better landrace bears I've ever evaluated was at Cow Palace a few years ago. I believe I made him third overall landrace or third overall pig that year. Probably bred, they were bred by Datsun, and I don't know if it's bred similar to this particular pig, but a very, very good individual out of a very, very good breed here at Arizona National.
Yeah, you guys maybe haven't seen as many of the normal breeds as you maybe thought, but when Doug and I put the sale order together, we said, hey, we need to have all those land races in there. And this one is maybe as fresh, as youthful, as unique in terms of body shape and look as any of those three gilts. She's not as far along. She's not as burly as those others. But, man, this thing has got a wild amount of value for us, just in terms of look, foot quality, and just skeleton for sure. Bred by the Datsun firm. Wildcat, timing's right, lot 37.
Next in, we have Holden Peelman from California, far and wide, heavy hitter from GNS. And guys, this gilt was awfully, awfully close. She looks like one of those that Garrett's made that makes him, 30, 40, $50,000 litters every time because they're dense, they're burly, they're round-bodied, they're square in their skeletal makeup, and you can make this thing just anything wild that you want and make the next ones better. And she might even have a little bit of shelf life left here for the next few months with this GNS gilt. Far and wide, heavy hitter.
She looks like a generator in terms of her muscle and making show bearers. And I'm not going to tell you her neck's perfect, but there's a lot of neat looking tight-jawed boars that could fix that. And that's what we look for, guys. And we're putting some sows together is just pieces. And this thing has got some interesting pieces. She's a far and wide. I'm telling you what, for a gilt that's just north of 200 pounds. She's not that big, but she is as dense-backed and just stout-ended as anything. I think a very, very neat one for sure in lot 38 from a firm that's absolutely getting it done in Ohio.
Here we have
Nice.
Kate Hikus. This is a Kong out of a sow from Heimer. This gilt was raised by Lane Mai there in Kansas, one of my up-and-coming, one of my favorite guys to talk livestock through with, because he won't talk to me unless I talk to him about some show pigs because he's such a quiet fella. But what a unique gilt. I'll remember this gilt for a long time when she came in because where she was good, her head neck attachment, her chest, her back shape, wildly well presented. I think a very neat gilt. Might have some longevity left in her as well. She looks youthful. Hunter, what else do you think?
I think this is interesting. You look at pedigrees and you study phenotypically what they look like and say, oh, that thing looks like that, that thing looks like that. Kong is the absolute last boar I thought that this gilt was going to be sired by, and I think maybe that intensifies her value because where Kong maybe needs fix, this thing is absolutely out there in terms of her height of shoulder, her look, and her design. She's going to have the Kong bone back and stoutness that we're after. For her to be that good-headed, she's maybe as valuable as anything we've seen later on in this sale. I think a very, very good one, sired by Kong, lot 39.
We have lot 40, Macy Scroggins from California. This is a Waymer bred gilt, and valuable for sure. We don't have the pedigree information on this particular gilt, but one of that particular color that can make white ones has been hard to find forever.
Yeah, for sure, guys. And we talked earlier, this is the last lot in the sale, but it's not in terms of quality. These are the 40 best gilts that Doug and I got to judge the last 2 days. So don't hold your bid button, because this all white gilt has a lot of shelf life left. If you want to take her home, feed on her, and then breed on her, this thing's got value. Making Southwest Yorkshires, her shape, her look, her design, and you get them behind this gilt, she's as square and genuine as any of those D1 gilts. I think a really, really neat one to round out our sale, lot 40 from Waymer.
Thank you for joining us for the 2025 gilt sale preview. We hope you've even more excited for the opportunity to own one of these gilts, having discussed their pedigrees and their strengths. If you're not with us here in Phoenix but still want to participate in the sale, you can watch the sale and bid live from anywhere via CCI.Live. Gavels down, the best in the business. We hope to see you tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 8 Eastern Time online via CCI.Live. You do not want to miss this set of gilts.